lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Giant Sparrow is quickly becoming known for thought-provoking games, wonderful storytelling, and magnificently realized worlds. Their first title, The Unfinished Swan, released back in 2012 to great success, so naturally everyone was waiting to see what they would do next. When teasers and videos began dropping for what remains of Edith Finch, I knew they were going to have another hit on their hands.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
What Remains of Edith Finch is not a long game by any stretch of the imagination. My initial playthrough took me around 2.5 hours to complete, and that was with several stretches of exploration. If you simply moved from one area to the next, it could easily be completed in under 2 hours. But this is a game that isn't measured by the length of time it takes to complete the story. I will say, if you have any interest in this game, it's best to go in blind. As a slight precaution, there will be a few gameplay spoilers in what follows. A narrative-driven game, this is another major release that can best be described as a walking simulator. I don't use that term in a negative way, but as a means to represent what you'll be doing when playing. You primarily play as Edith Finch, as she is about to revisit her childhood home. Walking through the forested landscape leading up to the house, backstory and several plot points are introduced as players look around and examine different objects. This mechanic just worked for me, and I was interested in where the story could potentially go after just a few moments.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Upon reaching the house, Edith continues to provide more and more dialogue on the current situation, and it's up to the player to explore the rooms of the house. Each room is entirely different and belonging to a particular Finch family member. You can examine objects in each room to learn a little bit more about them, but the real fun begins when you check out their diary and get whisked away into their past. At this point, everything shifts and you are controlling whichever family member you are currently learning about. Each room offers a completely different playstyle, from platforming to swinging on a swing set, to campy slasher horror movies, to exploring a royal kingdom while cutting off the heads of a fish in a factory.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
The varied amounts of gameplay offered throughout the rooms was definitely my favorite part about this release, and it was something I honestly wasn't expecting. Each room serves as a little slice of history, and it's fun and utterly depressing at the same time to witness Edith slowly fill in the family tree in her own journal while exploring the memories of those who came before her. I'm not going to dive any more into the story and gameplay elements of this game, because as I mentioned, it's best to really jump in and see for yourself what makes this so special. What Remains of Edith Finch will keep calling back to you after you've finished it, and in a way, you'll want to return to get a better understanding for the story after you know the what and why things happened. My only complaint is that the game was literally over almost as quick as it began. You don't get to enjoy the individual room sequences as much as I would have liked, because they end within minutes. Either way though, this is an excellent title and I encourage you to check it out.
Had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.